بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبح لله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم هو الذي أخرج الذين كفروا من أهل الكتاب من ديارهم لأول الحشر ما ظننتم أن يخرجوا وظنوا أنهم مانعتهم حصونهم من الله فأتاهم الله من حيث لم يحتسبوا وقذف في قلوبهم الرعب يخربون بيوتهم بأيديهم وأيدي المؤمنين فاعتبروا يا أولي الأبصار.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. Thank you very much, dear brothers of Islam on Web, a website in English from Kerala, India, generated by the alumni students of Jame Darul Huda, Kerala, which is a very famous Jamia at the moment in Kerala. And students of Jamia have spread everywhere, doing their higher studies in several universities in India as well as abroad. I was asked to share some of my views as tribute to one of my beloved brother who passed away on 18th August 2021 in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. He was a thinker, he was a leader, he was a dynamic administrator. He was really a brother, a close brother. Anybody meets him can feel that he is really a brother to him. Professor Dr. Abdul Hamid AbuSulayman passed away on 18th August. Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. He departed from this world of chaos and crisis to the abode of peace in Jannatul Firdaus. Dr. Abdul Hamid AbuSulayman is remembered because he served as the first Secretary General of the World Assembly of Muslim Youth. He was a founding member of International Islamic Federation of Students organization based in Kuwait. He was the president of International Islamic Institute of Islamic Thought, Herden, USA. He was invited by the government of Malaysia based on his scholarship, dynamism, credentials, and in-depth, profound knowledge of Islamic heritage and modern world, especially the philosophical thought of the modern world. He was invited to serve as the rector of International Islamic University, Malaysia in 1988. He served this university for almost 10 years. when he was serving World Assembly of Muslim Youth, he realized that the world today is in need of an alternative civilization which can be created by committed, conscious, knowledgeable, wise, but young, youthful members of the Islamic Ummah around the world. Therefore, when he was offered the rectorship of International Islamic University, he immediately accepted, because he thought that through this institution he can transform thousands of Muslim youth into a dynamic, knowledge-based and wisdom-oriented people who can provide guidance and leadership to the modern crisis-based world. Dr. Abdul Hamid AbuSulayman, I came to know him first time when he visited India to attend a training workshop for Muslim youth. I had the pleasure not only to meet him, I spent time and I traveled with him by air from Bhopal to New Delhi. After that, I met him again in 1977 in a 15 days workshop organized by World Assembly of Muslim Youth in Abha, a mountaining, pleasant place in Saudi Arabia. When he reached to address in the inaugural session, I observed that all the participants in that inaugural session of the workshop showered upon him their love and affection, respect and honor. So I started getting good impression about his personality. I listened his speech and I realized that his speech was a speech of a father. Like a father, he was giving advices to the participant, to the audience. When he joined the International Islamic University in Malaysia in 1988, just 1 year before, on 27th July 1987, I had joined the International Islamic University in the Center for Fundamental Studies to teach to all the students of the International Islamic University Malaysia the so-called Islamic studies. But it was the vision of Dr. Abdul Hamid AbuSulayman who introduced later on and transformed this Center for Fundamental Studies into the Department of Islamic Revealed Knowledge and Heritage. He argued with us that the discipline of Islamic studies was developed keeping in mind that Islam was a part of history. So the role of Islam, as history should be studied and understood. But for Dr. Abdul Hamid AbuSulayman, Islam was not only the part of history, but for him, Islam was the world view, the way of life. And whenever I met him, I discussed with him, I attended his speeches, his discussions during meetings, I realized that beyond any doubt, he was clear in his vision that only Islam can offer an alternative civilization for the betterment of the entire humanity. Though he was involved in Islamic institutions and organizations, but his message was for the entire humanity. His concern was with humanity, people at large of all the nations. He carried this vision and mission throughout his life. When he joined the International Islamic University, Malaysia, he occupied a small office, 10 by 10 feet, or less than that. And I saw through my own eyes, sometime he was taking rest, lying down on the floor. His office was open for everybody at any time. Abdul Hamid AbuSulayman served International Islamic University as its second rector. What is International Islamic University? Is it a religious university? Is it a religion-based university? Or can we consider it a modern, relevant, embracing all branches of knowledge, and as an alternative model of universities of the modern world? I would say yes. Because, as I said earlier, Islam for Abdul Hamid AbuSulayman was not a religion in a limited sense. So this International Islamic University came into existence out of the 5 international conferences which were held in different parts of the Muslim world, in Saudi Arabia, in Malaysia, in Pakistan, in Bangladesh, and in some other African countries. As the Education Minister of Malaysia, Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, the former Prime Minister of Malaysia, attended some of the conferences which were held on education, philosophy of education, based on Islamic worldview. The concern of those conferences was how to develop a philosophy of education and universities relevant for our modern societies, capable to produce visionary, mission-oriented, morally sound, professionally excellent youth. With that vision, the International Islamic University Malaysia was established. a known scholar of the Muslim world, a loving figure of the Malaysian population in Malaysia, Tan Sri Professor Muhammad Kamal Hassan, was given the charge to prepare the working paper for the development and establishment of the International Islamic University. Professor Kamal Hassan himself was a scholar of Islamic heritage, Islamic sciences, and had a profound understanding of the modern disciplines. On one side, the Islamic worldview, and on the other side, the modern worldview. So he came up with a working paper based upon which the International Islamic University was established. Islamic University of Malaysia is not catering the needs of the Muslim Ummah alone. Its doors are open for each and every student of each and every corner of the world. The beauty of International Islamic University is that in this university, students are educated about the Islamic worldview, the need of morally sound personality. At the same time, the students of International Islamic University are prepared as excellent professionals. International Islamic University was established in 1983, and Dr. Abdul Hamid AbuSulayman joined this university in 1988, almost after 5 years. When he joined the International Islamic University in Malaysia, he transformed this university from 3 faculties to several faculties within the 10 years of his tenure. And he prepared a plan of establishment of a new campus. So he invited architects and engineers to design a new but dynamic campus of an international Islamic university relevant for a contemporary societies. So he suggested the campus should be surrounded by the mosque and must be attached to the library and faculties. After faculties, the student hostels. He worked on that plan and he was successful for the construction of a new campus in a city called, close to Kuala Lumpur's capital city, Gombak. The International Islamic University at present a beautiful picture of an international Islamic university, full of greenery and excellent landscaping, full of students from almost more than 100 nationalities and countries. Students are coming from Japan, from America, from Canada, from Australia, from UK, as well as from Muslim countries, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, many other countries. It was Dr. Abdul Hamid AbuSulayman who visited several countries and introduced the International Islamic University at a large scale. In 1989, when my first contract ended, my dean at that time told me that Dr. Mumtaz, Dr. Abdul Hamid has reached out to several universities around the world who have obtained their highest degrees from top universities of the world. I cannot guarantee your extension, because International Islamic University at that time was receiving hundreds of applications for academic position in several faculties. Then I asked my dean, Tansari Professor Kamal Hassan, what should I do? He advised me, start giving seminars, writing academic papers, and presenting your research output in conferences. Alhamdulillah, I followed his advice and I survived in International Islamic University till date. Thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, thanks to the authorities of the university, thanks to the government of Malaysia, who provided chances to international scholars to come to this university and serve the cause of the humanity, cause of the Muslim Ummah, and fulfill the needs of Muslim and youth in general. So Dr. Abdul Hamid AbuSulayman not only introduced the International Islamic University outside Malaysia, but he also visited several countries and collected donations to help the students. He developed a strategy to attract the students from all over the world. He contacted some Islamic organization in several countries through his channel, through his links, through World Assembly of Muslim Youth and IFSO and IIIT. He did his best to recruit, to give admission to those students who had extraordinary talent and commitment to higher studies. He used to ask people, send students who are committed to seek knowledge and become more and more wise, just not to fulfill the professional needs and professional requirements. Abdul Hamid realized that the challenge the humanity, the challenge the Ummah is facing, it is an intellectual challenge. It is the challenge of vision, perception, purpose of life of individuals, societies and communities. For what purpose people should live their life? Merely for material gains or some higher, noble, spiritual objectives? For Dr. Abdul Hamid AbuSulayman, the admission of committed students was a basic requirement. He asked students, you surrender yourself from your heart to seek knowledge and increase your wisdom, to this university. University will take responsibility of meeting your material needs, financial needs. For that purpose, he devoted all of his salary. For 10 years, he did not take a single penny as a salary. He just devoted all this salary for the well-being of the students. And he collected funds from other rich people in the world. Whatever I am talking about Dr. Abdul Hamid AbuSulayman, I am talking based on my contact with him for 10 years as the academic staff of the university, and he was the rector of this university. I realized that for Dr. Abdul Hamid AbuSulayman, 3 things were very clear, and he was committed for those 3 things. As the president of International Islamic Institute of Islamic Thought and a close friend of late Professor Dr. Ismail Raji Al-Faruqi, he ingrained in his mind and his personality, in his spirit root, the idea of Islamization of knowledge. The idea of integration of 2 educational systems. And he had some glimpses how to use the Islamic sciences, how to benefit from Islamic sciences which were developed in the past, for which Tansari Professor Kamal Hassan coined a term, relevantization of Islamic sciences, and he popularized the term. But Dr. Abdul Hamid AbuSulayman was also equally concerned. Therefore, he gave the name to Center for Fundamental Knowledge as the Department of Islamic Revealed Knowledge and Heritage. For Dr. Abdul Hamid AbuSulayman, integration of 2 educational institutions was the topmost priority. Therefore, he developed an image of International Islamic University which neither can be considered as a traditional university nor it can be considered a modern university in a secular sense. It is no doubt a modern university in the sense that its campus gives an impression of a modern university. But this university is a unique university that in the model of education, it integrated the excellent useful dimensions of the modern Western secular universities and the salient features of Islamic Jamiat and Islamic universities. He integrated 2 educational systems into one. I would say that when the International Islamic University was established in 1983, it was established already based on the idea of integration of 2 educational systems. I would say that Dr. Abdul Hamid AbuSulayman became an instrument to further expand this university. What is Islamization of knowledge for Dr. Abdul Hamid AbuSulayman? The first booklet on this idea of Islamization of knowledge was developed by late Professor Dr. Ismail Raji Al-Faruqi in the form of a booklet, and that booklet carries as the name of the author the name of Dr. Ismail Raji Al-Faruqi. But in 1989, the same book was published with the same title, Islamization of Knowledge, General Principles and a Work Plan. But on that book, there is no name of any author, because that book was re-edited, expanded, and many more dimensions were included in that book under the guidance of Dr. Abdul Hamid AbuSulayman. So initially the focus of Islamization of knowledge was to study the modern disciplines, all modern disciplines. Priority was given to social sciences, but the natural sciences were not excluded. Anybody can find reference to natural sciences in the first booklet produced by Ismail Raji Al-Faruqi. Why do we need to go through the process of Islamization of modern disciplines? Because it is a fact that all educational systems are developed based on a world view, followed by majority of the people of a community, of a country. Muslim Ummah has its own world view. So the pioneer of Islamization of knowledge argued that the world view of the modern disciplines is different from the worldview of Islam. Through the educational system, not only the worldview is transmitted, but values, morals, way of thinking, way of living, and many more things. So they argue that based on the Islamic worldview, we need to transfer a different value system, a different moral code, a different way of living and way of doing the things. Therefore, they neither neglected the importance and significance of any branch of knowledge developed by any community of the world. They fully engaged themselves with all those branches of knowledge, and they fully benefited from their positive dimensions. And they wanted to incorporate those positive dimensions in a discipline which was supposed to be developed by the scholars who had embraced the Islamic worldview. Islamization of knowledge does not negate the importance and significance of modern disciplines. It fully recognizes them and is ready to benefit from them. But along with that, Islamization of knowledge stands for development of disciplines as a combination of both. On one side, the modern excellent element of modern disciplines, and on the other side, the excellent element of Islamic traditional sciences, and along with new insights, creative ideas. That was and that is the goal of Islamization of knowledge. So they focused earlier, I can say, during 80s on the production of these disciplines and this kind of textbooks, suitable textbooks to this kind of disciplines. But when Dr. Abdul Hamid AbuSulayman re-edited, expanded, he introduced Islamization of knowledge as an intellectual agenda for the alternative paradigm of epistemology and education. So he considered and he explained Islamization of knowledge as an intellectual academic exercise. Therefore, he argued that the whole world is suffering from a crisis, and that crisis was the crisis of perception. To describe this crisis of perception, Dr. Abdul Hamid AbuSulayman authored a book entitled The Crisis of Muslim Mind. In that book, he argued that intellectually, from visionary point of view, the Muslim mind is suffering from an intellectual crisis. And that intellectual crisis has created many problems to the Muslims. And due to these problems, Muslims are unable to contribute positively for the betterment of the entire humanity. His thesis was very clear. He thought that based on the Islamic worldview, he will bring reform in the mind of the Muslim intellectual and scholars, and through the reform of the Muslim mind can be capable to contribute towards the development of the humanity. He transformed International Islamic University into a higher institute of higher learning, which focusing on analytical, critical, scientific and creative thinking, so that the intellectuals, the academic staff of the International Islamic University can come up with their creative insights, and they can present for the well-being of the entire humanity creative ideas, creative models, creative theories. Currently, in International Islamic University, the entire syllabus of the university is focusing on these 4 or 5 dimensions. After fulfilling the basic requirements, what are the basic and fundamental requirements? In International Islamic University, all the students are explained and share what is a true, authentic and universal worldview, and what is the purpose of the creation of human being. This is done based on a comparative studies. The unique aspect of the International Islamic University is that in this university, every branch of knowledge up to the extent of the abilities of the academic staff are taught based on a comparative model. students are first introduced by modern Western disciplines, and a criticism within the upholders of modern Western discipline, that criticism is also introduced to the students. Then, as an alternative, the Islamic output, the Islamic view of the discipline is introduced, and along with among the Islamic scholars themselves, whatever criticism is made, students are introduced with that criticism also. It is a unique university that this university student is fully aware of whatever is taught in Harvard University as modern disciplines, and also he is fully aware of what was taught in the Islamic universities in the past and whatever is taught in Islamic university today in the modern world. A comparative study, comparative analysis, a comparative examination is the unique aspect of International Islamic University. First focus is on a world view, then the cultivation of morals. This university from the very first day is focusing on a strong development of strong morals, commitment. Individual as educated human being must be free from ego, from lust, from greediness, from selfish interest. They should dedicate themselves based on higher code of morals to serve the needs of other people. The clarification of a true universal worldview and focus on the development of a moral personality, both combine the development of a spiritual personality. These figures, these aspects, these elements are very important in the curriculum of International Islamic University. Whenever and wherever I go outside Malaysia and attend international conferences or I deliver lectures, and nowadays online lectures, when audience ask me where we should send our students, without any hesitation I said, you send if you want to have a comprehensive, holistic, proper development of your children, to my university, International Islamic University. Thanks to Dr. Abdul Hamid AbuSulayman and the whole team of the International Islamic University, all the preceding rectors of International Islamic University, all the academic staff of the International Islamic University, senior students of the International Islamic University, all of them are focusing on the elaboration of the Islamic worldview, the development of the Islamic personality with the sound Islamic morals, and professionally excellent human being, having a deeper understanding of the modern disciplines in a comparative manner and the deeper understanding of the Islamic disciplines. Dr. Abdul Hamid AbuSulayman participated each and every developmental process of the university, physical or intellectual. As I said in the beginning, he designed the campus, keeping university campus, situating mosque in the center. And intellectually, a course was taught, Sciences of the Quran. he changed the title of the course with a different title, Islamic Revelation as the source of knowledge and civilization. He gave a new orientation to many of the disciplines. He actually wanted that in each and every field of knowledge, International Islamic University must be capable to make positive and creative contributions, just not repeating. Through the research, every academic must be capable to contribute new thinking, new thought. That is the way Abdul Hamid argued throughout his 10 years career in Islamic University to bring development, change and development, sustainable development was dearest goal of Dr. Abdul Hamid AbuSulayman. And I think to all the academic staff of the university with some minor exceptions. From the very beginning, International Islamic University, as I try to understand, stood for development. Cultural, civilizational development. Development of communities. Sustainable development of communities, countries, economies, scientific and technological development, political development, development in all domains, but based on a true, authentic and universal world view that we consider based on our study, examination, analysis. These three qualities are fulfilled by Islamic world view. Islamic world view is not a modern world view. It begins with the first man on this earth, Hazrat Adam alayhi salatu salam. So Islamic worldview is a worldview which is based on knowledge. Knowledge which was granted to mankind by the creator of the entire universe, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who introduces himself in the Quran as all knowledgeable, all wise. There is no limit for his knowledge. He shared his knowledge about the world view with all the human beings from the very inception of life on this earth. So Islamic revealed knowledge is not a religious knowledge. It is a body of knowledge which contains in it the elements of universality, truthfulness and authenticity. Anybody who has any doubt can examine from a critical point of view and analyze and see whether these three constituent elements of Islamic revealed knowledge are really validate the Islamic revealed knowledge or not. So for International Islamic University, for Dr. Abdul Hamid AbuSulayman, and for all other rectors and for all other members of the International Islamic University, these things are dearest. These things are their goal. They want to introduce change for the sake of development, sustainable development in all other areas of life. I am thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I am thankful to the government of Malaysia, and I am thankful to the people of Malaysia. I am thankful to the students of the International Islamic University who always graded me as a good teacher. I think that is why university extended my contract. I am thankful to everybody. I am thankful especially to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I am thankful to Professor Dr. Muhammad Kamal Hassan, because when he told me that your extension is not guaranteed, you have to prove yourself, he gave me that advice and he motivated me in such a way that I dedicated myself for the improvement of myself. I always ask my student, forgive me for my shortcomings. If I teach in classroom anything which is not true, not in line with the Quran and Sunnah, and not useful for the entire humanity of this world, that is due to my personal weaknesses. But I do not teach anything consciously which is not useful for humanity, for people of this world. Thank you very much, dear audience, for listening me. Thank you very much for being patient with me. Wa akhiru da'wana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalam ala rasulihil kareem. Mohd.